So in the last session we have seen how to prepare the uniform grids, non-uniform grids, and also some different kinds of grids we have completed there, like Cartesian form grids and cylindrical form of grids. All that things we have completed in the last session. Now many times we have discussed that there are different methods of forming the grids in ETABS software. Unless and until you are not forming the grids in ETABS software, you will not be able to model your structure. So very first step when you start your software is that you have to prepare the grid lines. So what are the different methods of forming that grid lines? So we have seen many times that there are different methods, like first one is offset point method. Got it? Second one is using quick templates given by the ETABS software, and the third one is importing CAD plan, or we can say CAD file, in ETABS software, in ETABS. So these are the three methods of forming the grids in ETABS software. So what actually we are going to, we actually have completed that. We have discussed all about the offset point methods. We also have completed about the quick template ETABS, how to use that, how to prepare the grid line using the quick templates given by the ETABS software. Now here we have to start how you can import the CAD file in the ETABS software as a center line plan. You all are ready? Okay, so what are the procedure and how you can export the AutoCAD file, and how you can import that AutoCAD file in the ETABS software, that all things we have to see here. So try to understand each and everything. Got it? So this is the architectural plan, and through the over the architectural plan we have prepared the beam column layout. See, this one kind of architectural plan is there, and based on that architectural plan we have prepared the center line plan, or we can say, sorry, this is the beam layout. This is called as beam layout, and the beam layout will contain positionings of beams, column positions, okay, positioning of the slabs, positioning of the shear wall, that all will be present in your beam layout. Got it? So this is actually the beam layout. So how we can prepare this beam layout, what the things we have to follow to prepare the beam layouts, so that all things we will discuss in very detailed way when we start our live project. Got it? So here we only have to focus how you can export the AutoCAD file, and then how you can import that AutoCAD file in the software. Here we have to focus, our objective is that only. So don't think that how we can prepare this beam layout. It is not our subject right now. Okay, our subject is what, how you can export the CAD file. Okay, so this the file is there, beam layout is there, and this is the center line. Okay, so that center line we have taken on a side. You see, this is the center line plan. This is actually the center line plan, and this center line plan we have to export from the AutoCAD file. So see, we have to export this CAD file. So how you can export this CAD file? So to do that, first copy this element and this entire center line plan. Okay, just copy it. How you can copy it? Just not CO enter. Here you have to copy back by pressing Ctrl C. It might be known to all of you how you can copy the this content. So this should be, you can do that through by pressing Ctrl plus C. So just press Ctrl plus C. So once it's done, just come out and open new CAD file. Now here we have to copy, we have to paste that file, we have to take that file here. So how you can do that? just press Control V. So this here, see, the origin is actually present here. Is it visible? X and Y coordinate is there, but what I am going to do, I am just going to put this plan here. This is done. Is that clear? Now next you have to save this file. You have to save this file. So how to do that is just press Ctrl S, save this file, and the format of saving this file should be what? It should be in DXF format, not DWG format. It should be what? It should be in DXF format, because while importing the CAD file in the ETABS software, ETABS allow only the DXF file. Hello, am I audible? Yeah, so choose the AutoCAD 2010 DXF format. So just click here, and I just want to save this file in, so here the DXF folder is there. Now I just want to save this file by the name of let it be D123. Okay, just give the name whatever you want. File name is D123 and the file format should be in DXF format. Now save this file. Is that clear? Yeah, see, now it's done. We have saved this file as in a DXF format. Now close this file. See, after saving this, just close this file. Now here I am going to open new model. Just say no. Here the metric SI. Here it should be Indian. It should be design steel code should be IS 800 2007, and here IS 456. All these things we have discussed in a very detailed way in the first and second session. So I don't think so that we have to discuss these things again. Am I right? Yeah, just say okay. Now see, we have to go with the blank option. We don't want the grids from the ETABS software. So just click blank and say okay. So once you click on OK, two window views will be appearing there. One is plan, one is the 3D view. So here just click on the plan. As you can see here, how many stories are there? How many stories are there? 4 stories is there by default by the ETABS software. So let it be as it is. Now go to file. In file section you will find you will be able to find import. Hello. Yeah, go to import. Then there you have to select DXF file of floor plan. Hello, DXF file of floor plan. Just click on this. This will ask you the position of the DXF file. So this is in Dev1 DXF, and DXF D123 file is there, right? D123. Just click on it, this file, and say open. So this will ask you the center line. See, the layer of this file is what? Hello, it is center line. Yeah, so you have to just click on beam as center line. Okay, now you have to see unit of this plan, whether it is in meter or whether it is in feet or inches. That you have to make sure from the drawing. So can you tell me how much it is? 5.97. So whether it is meter or in mm, sorry, in feet or inches, it is in meter. That's why just go with the meter and let it be as it is. Where you want to import this center line plan, either on first story, second story, third story, fourth story, where you want to import it, just keep it at first. Say okay. This will ask you to save the model. So let it be as D123. Save. Now as you can see, the file has been imported. It takes some time to save the model. Yeah, just go to plan, go to first story. Is it visible? Now to make sure that whether the plan has been imported correctly, see that you have to measure the dimension of this line. So how you can see that, how you can measure the dimension? Go to draw. There you have to see, click on the draw dimension lines. Just click on this and close it. Now from this point to this point, how much it should be? 5.9735. Is it correct? Got it? Hello? Is it correct? Yeah. So the plan has been imported correctly. Now the second thing is what? See, it is away from the origin. Is that clear? So what will be the problem if you are importing like this? See, I am going at the first, at the second story. So these I am at the second story. Now I am just coming back to the first story. See, every time I need to keep it at the center and zoom it. Got it? I need to zoom in. When I am going to second, fourth story, whatever, there might be something at the fourth story. When I am coming back to the first story, see, again I need to keep it at the center and zoom in. Is it problem or not? So see, to avoid this problem, what you need to do, see, I am repeating again. Now just come back again, just delete it. Now copy this, just copy it, Control C. Now open new CAD file, press Control V. Is it visible? See, what actually we need to do to avoid that problem that I have discussed with you, we have to keep this plan at the origin, at the base, at the origin. So how to do this? Just being this command active, just click 0, just put 0, 0 and just say enter, so that your plan will be at the origin. Is that clear? See, repetition you want? Okay, see, so what you have to do, just, okay, delete it. Okay, what you have to do, just come back to the base file, and this is the center line plan. Just copy this file, say Control C. Now open new CAD file, blank CAD file, and just paste it here. Now Control V. Now let it be as it is. Don't do anything. Let this command be active and put 0, 0 to keep your plan at the origin. So I am here, just put 0, 0 and say enter. So automatically your plan will be positioned at the origin. Is that clear, Amir Ali? Now see, next what you need to do, just save this file in the format. Can you tell me which format it should be? Exactly, it should be in DXF format. Okay, it should be in DXF format. So see, Control S, save this file, and it should be in desktop. So this DXF folder is there, and I just want to save this file in the DXF format, and let it be S123. Is that clear? Yeah, save this file in the name of S123. Just save it. Now once the file is get saved, just close this file. See, before importing you need to close it. Okay, just come back to ETABS software again. Just go to file and go to new model. Go with the all basic settings that we have given here. So okay, go with the blank sheet. Say okay. So this is all done. Now just go to file, go to import, and go to the DXF, what? DXF file of floor plan. Just click on this, and here S123, say open. Okay, now this we have to choose the beam line as center line, and it should be what, in meter, and let it be all these things as it is. Where you want to import, either fourth story, third story, second story, or first story. Fast tell me. Let it be first story. Say okay. This will ask you save the model, so just save the model by the name as 123. Just save it. Now just go to plan, go to first story. Is it visible? Now it is at the origin. So when you go to plan at the first second story, okay, and then coming back to the bottom story, again you don't need to work, you don't need to zoom in again and again. Got it? So in this way you can import your CAD file in the ETABS software. Is that clear to all of you? So this is all about how you can import the CAD file in the ETABS software. So this is all about how you can prepare the grid line in the ETABS software. So all the three methods I have discussed with you all. So whatever you like for your project, you can do that. This is all upon you. Is that clear? We can move to the next practice. Now just come back to the next exercise. We have to see what are the different axes in the ETABS software, or in general what are the different kinds of axes that we have to understand in this exercise. Then what does mean by the concept of releases, what are the application of the releases, then how to assign the different types of the supports at the base of your structure, how to assign the point loads, uniformly distributed load, uniformly varying load, okay, how to see the forces in the members of the your model, in the members of your structure, okay, then how to see the reaction of at the base of your structure. So here we have to see the simple models that we have done in your graduation, for graduation, to find the forces in the members of the truss, and to see the forces in the beams, shear forces, bending moments. So that in small models we are going to prepare in the ETABS software, and we are going to assign the loadings, then we have to verify the results. So with this practice you will be able to model, you will be able to see the forces in the members, you will be able to how to assign the loadings. So many practices you will be covered with this exercise. Hello, we are not directly going to the project. I can take the project directly, but before that you should get familiar with the software. You all got it? So this is the verification is also there. We have to model all these things, and we have to verify the results. These all are the manual calculations, manual outputs, and we have to verify these all manual outputs with the software. Okay, so with this exercise, with this module, you will understand what how to assign the forces, how to assign the releases, what does mean by the releases, and how to see the forces and movements in the members, and how to see the reactions, how to assign the supports, what are the different types of the supports. That all things we have to cover in this exercise. You all are ready? So see, first try to understand what does mean by the neutral axis, what does mean by the local axis, and what does mean by the global axis. Can anyone tell me? This is open discussion. Can anyone tell me what does mean by the global axis, what does mean by the local axis, and what does mean by the natural axis? Try to understand, those who don't know what does mean by the global axis, what does mean by the local axis, what does mean by the natural axis. So the global axis, the coordinate system and the axis that represent your entire model, that represent your entire model, that or your entire structure, that axis system is called as global axis. Is that clear? The axis system, okay, the coordinate system that represent your entire structure or your entire model is called as global axis. See, this model, the model first, as you can see here, is consist of different members. These are 3D model, and the one member is running in this direction, the one member is running in this direction, one member is running in this direction, one member is running in this direction, and some members running in vertical direction. Got it? So these axes represent this model globally. So all the members running in this direction in this model is along the x direction, is along the x direction. This is in x direction, this is in x direction. So it doesn't matter how many member is there, it matters that members running in which direction. So suppose there is two members and these two members running in this direction means all these members running in x direction. So this globally representing. Now all the member running in this direction, transverse direction, which is actually y direction, so it is represented by this line, this axis, and all the vertical members is running along the vertical direction, so it is along the z direction, all the members. So what we are calling it as this global axis. It is representing entire model by a single unit system. Axis system is called as global axis. Is that clear to all of you? Yeah. So this is the global axis. Now see, this is the solid model is there, and see this consists of different structural elements. Like this is the beam. This beam. Got it? This is the entire model is the 3D model. Okay. 3-dimensional model is there. Okay. But if you move one step inside, so you will get all the members there. This is the beam. This is again beam. This is the column. So these individual members are also solid members. These three members have 3 dimensions. They have width, they have depth, they have length. Am I right? So these individual structural elements as beam, column, slabs has their own dimensions as width, depth and length. So to represent the length, we are using one axis. See, now we are not talking about the entire model, entire structure. Now we are going to discuss about particular element, beam. So beam, I am taking it outside. So this is actually the beam. Is that visible? So this is the width. Let it be width. This is actually the depth. Okay, this is actually the depth, and this is actually the length. This length. So we can use one more axis system to represent this entire element, this one element. So we are going to represent it as x. This is actually y, and the depth is, let it be z. So the axis system which is representing a particular element, the part of your structure is called as what? Local axis. This is called as what? Local axis. Yeah, you all got it? What does mean by the global axis? What does mean by the local axis? Now see, so as you can see here, every structural elements, every component part of your structure having its own natural axis, local axis. Every structural element has its own local axis. Got it? This is called as local axis. It is visible. This beam has its local axis. This beam has its local axis. This beam has its local axis. Okay. This also has its local axis. This also has its local axis. Got it? Now, what does mean by the global axis? What does mean by the natural axis? See, when you move one more step inside of your particular single element, suppose let it be as beam, let it be as what? Let it be as beam. Got it? So it has its local axis. Okay, but these beam are made up of accumulation of different small tiny particles. Am I right? These beams is actually made up of different tiny solid particles of their respective material. Let it be suppose it is of wooden, let it be it is of glass, let it be it is of concrete. So that is made up of different small particles, accumulation accumulation of different solid particles. But that solid particles will have its that is a solid elements. It has a 3 dimension. Am I right? If I am taking a small particle like this, solid particle, hello, is it visible? So this particle will have its own axis. This particle will have its own axis, and that axis is called as what? Natural axis. That is called as what? Natural axis. You all got it? Local axis, global axis, and natural axis. So see, in ETABS software, just go to ETABS, go to open file, say no. Is it visible? Yeah. Can you tell me this system whether it is global, local, and natural? Global. Exactly. It is global axis. It is what? It is a global axis. Global system that representing entire model by a single axis system. That's why this axis is actually global axis. Okay, now if you want to see the axis of each individual elements, there is a column, there is a slab, there is a beam. No, so to see that, okay, so don't worry, I will take all the commands after some time in detail. Here I just want to show you how you can see the local axis. So just go to set display option and go to object assignments. I just want to first see local axis of the shell, or we can say slab. Local axis, say apply. Is it visible? Each slab has its own local axis, has its own axis. Got it? So this is what? This is global axis, and this is the local axis of the slab. Is that clear? Now I just want to see local axis of the frame elements. So see, beam and column is there. So I just want to see the local axis. Apply. See, the local axis of the column is there. Local axis of this beam is there. Okay, is that clear to all of you? Hello. So this is what? This is all about the axis. Local axis, global axis, and natural axis. It is not possible to see the natural axis in the ETABS software. Is that clear? Yeah, see this dialog box you can see from just by clicking on set display option. Once you click on set display option, then you have to go to object assignments. Okay, there is a shell elements and shell assignments and the frame assignments. What are the different kinds of assignments you were made that you can see through this dialog box? So don't bother about it. Just left it. We will discuss all the commands of the ETABS software in the next exercise in a very detailed format. Got it? Yeah. So left it. If you got it, it's good. If you are not got it, so let it be as it is. Okay, don't worry, we will see all the things. Okay, see apply. So okay, now the next thing, the type of elements and members ETABS will consider. Okay, so there are three types of elements. Sorry, there are two types of elements in the ETABS software. First one is the frame element. What? First one is the what? Frame element. Frame element. And second one is the what? Shell element. Shell element. Two types of elements ETABS will consider. ETABS will give the name as frame element and shell element. Okay, so can anyone tell me which member will comes in the frame element and which member will come in the shell element? Yeah, so frame element means what? Line element. Frame element is actually line element and shell element is actually area element. Line element means what? The member whose length are very large or very means more as compared to its other two dimensions. Line element means what? Its length of the member are very large as compared to its other two elements, other two directions. Now let's talk about the beam. So suppose beam is there. So it might be in your knowledge that suppose the beam length is 5 meter. Beam length is 5 meter. In mm it will become 5000. And the depth are almost, let it be suppose 300 mm depth. And see, this width is suppose 230 mm. So can you see the difference between length and width and depth? That's why we are calling it as line element or frame. It has called it as frame element. Is that clear? Hello? Yeah. Now, so yeah. Now line element will include your column, your beams. Okay, column and beams. Now what about the shell elements? That means the area element. If you see, if you are dealing about the, if you are talking about the slab, so slab has the depth very less. Slab has the depth very less. Let it be as 150 mm, but the dimension may be, suppose this is a 6 meter, so it may be 6000. So what is can you compare 150 and 6000? Let it be 3.5 meter. So it may be 3500, 3500. So that's why we are calling it as area element. The in-plan dimensions are very large as compared to its depth. So shell elements, area elements will include slab and shear wall. Slabs and what? Shear walls. Is that clear to all of you? You all understood how to what are the different elements? Line element is there and area element is there. Line element means frame element. It has called it as frame element, and frame element will include your beam, column, and area element, or we can say shell element, will include your slabs and shear walls. I hope you all understood. Footing is a shell element, but see, we are not designing or modeling that in the ETABS software. Got it? So it's okay. Now, so you all understood. The first point we have completed. Now see, here we have to model this truss. We are going to start our exercise, and all the things we will discuss later on. Now, can you tell me what are the assumptions of analyzing any kind of truss? In your graduation, in your bachelor's, you might be learned about there are some assumptions for the analysis of the truss. Can anyone recall? Okay, each members of the truss are subjected to only axial forces. First, members subjected to axial forces. That may be either what? Tension, or it may be either tension or compression. Is it? Hello? So first assumption is what? All the members are subjected to axial forces, and that axial force may be either tension or compression. First thing. Now the second is what? All the members are connected at their ends only. All the members are connected at their ends only, and the connection will be pinned connection. The connection, all the members are connected their ends only. This is the first member, this is the second member, and let it be this is the third member. So all these members are actually connected at their ends only. Okay, so these connections will be pinned connection. What it will be? Pinned connection. Pinned connection. What it means by the pin connection? This joint will not carry any movement. This joint will not carry any movement. There will be only translational reaction will be there. Got it? So the first assumption is what? All the members are subjected to only axial forces, that may be tension or compression. First thing, all the members are connected at their ends only, and the ends connection will be pinned connection. That means this joint will not carry any movement. The second thing, that is and all the members are the straight members. Okay, all the members will have the uniform cross section. See, all members will have the uniform cross section from start to end. This is one assumption is there. This is not like that. This is not like this. Uniform in the cross section should be maintained. So these all things we have to satisfy while analyzing your structure, your truss. You all got it? Now just come back to the ETABS and this file. So we have to model this truss. Okay, so you all are ready to start the modeling. Now we have to start this modeling. So can you tell me whether it is elevation view or in plan view? So can you tell me this frame will be in XY plane or in XZ plane? See, in ETABS software 3 axes will be there like this. This is the in plan X, this is in plan Y, and this is Z. This is Z. So can you tell me in which plane you have to model this this truss? In X, ZX plane, exactly. So just come back to the ETABS. Just go to file, go to new model, and here go with the basic settings. Say okay. Now can you tell me how many number of grids will be in X direction? See, in plan grids will be 4. See, this is the first grid, this is the second grid, this is the third grid, and this will be the fourth grid. Is that okay? Now can you tell me in Y direction? So this in X direction will be 1, 2, 3, 4. What about in Y direction? No, in Y direction there will be no any need of grid. Only one grid will be there. This grid. This will be considered as in X direction also. This will be considered in Y direction also. Is that clear? Yeah. Now how many levels you have to form there? Let's consider that ETABS will make it as base by default, and except this base, this is the first level, this is the second level. Am I right? 2 levels over the height we have to make, first and second, and base will be by default by the ETABS software. Is that clear to all of you? Now tell me the height of this level. How you can find the height of this level, and how you can find this height, total height? Pythagoras. What is this distance? 6 meter, and we have to find the height. So height divided by base, it will be equal to tan theta. Am I right? Now theta is there 30 degree. Okay, this triangle you have to see. So this is 30 degree. So put it as tan inverse of sorry height we have to find. So h is equal to b times tan 30. B how much? 6 multiplied by tan 30. What is the answer? How much it is? 3.464. Let it be 3.4641. Is that clear? This is the total height, TH or T2 level. Let it be T2 level. Now we have to find this height. Just try to understand. Now we have to find this height. this height. Can anyone tell me how you can calculate this height? Hello? Sorry? Height will be equal to what? See, this will be equal to h by height upon base equal to tan theta. Tan theta. Then height will equal to base times tan theta. Then base will be your 2 meter. Half of this 4 meter will be 2. Then multiplied by tan. Tan will be what? 30. So can you give me answer? What will be the height of this level? Sorry? Okay, let me check it. Yeah, you may be right, no doubt. Okay, but to show to all, tan 30, 1.1547. Okay, so 1.1547. So this is the first level and the first height, and the second height will be what? Okay, so can you give tell me the difference between these two level? That will be what? 3.4641 minus 1.1547. Am I right? How much? 2.309. Okay, minus 3.4641. Okay, 2.3093. Put it again, 4 digits. Is that clear to all of you? So first level is at 1.1547, and from the first level the second level is at a height of 2.3093. Is that clear? Hello? So just who will write these two values, 1.1547 or 2.3093? Is there any? Can you remind me? Can you give me this value after some time? Okay, good. So I am erasing these all time. Okay, good. Just come back to the ETABS. In x direction, how many number of grids is there? Hello? 4 grid will be there. In y direction there will be the 1 grid, and in spacing, equal spacing is there or not? So uniform spacing is there 4. So in x direction put 4. Number of grids in y. See, the plane is, the truss is like this. Okay, so these in the plane x and z. What? This is x, this x, and this height in along this z. This z. But this is considered as one grid in y direction first. If I am taking next, that will be the second grid. Is it okay? Now spacing in x direction will be 4, and spacing, actually we can't put 0 value. See, now it's done. We can put it as 0 value in y direction. So it's done. Now see, height, number of stories what will be what? Okay, see, the intimation is that you can't put 0 value, so here you have to put at least 1. Put 1. Now just come over the story. So how many levels you actually want? See, base is there, 1 level is there, and the top level is there. So 2 levels you actually want. 2 so base will be by default there, and 2 additional levels. So put it here as 2. Again see here, this is what? This is the base, and this is the first, and this is the second. Got it? Hello? Yeah. So come back to the CAD ETABS. So base will be there. Typical story height, let it be as it is. Bottom story height, let it be as it is. Okay. Now just go to custom. We need to work with the custom. Then go to edit stories. Now see, this is the base. This is the first level. Let it be first, and let it be second level, top level. Let it be top. Okay. Now can you give me height of first level? it was I think 1.1547. Now from first level to the second, how much it was? 2.393. Is that correct? 2 point or 3 point? 2.3.3. Okay. Okay, let me check. 6 times tan 30. What is the answer? So it should be 3.46. It is lacking somewhere. I think 2.0393 was there. 3093. Now it's correct. Got it? Yeah, now it's correct. 6 tan 30. If you see, the same answer will be there. 3.4641. Got it? Say okay. Just minimize it. Say okay. Now it's done. Okay. Well, otherwise your result will be not matching. That's why I'm taking the correct value. So it's all done. Just go to grids only and say okay. Now see, this is the in plan view. So we need to work over the height. So just go to, okay, let me try. We can try. Okay. Yeah. Just go to elevation. See, this is the in plan. I just want to see the elevation along the grid first. So how you can see the elevation along the grid first? So go to elevation. When you go to elevation, I just want to see the elevation along grid first. Just click on first, say apply. So this is the elevation view. X and Z plane will be there. Okay. Now start your modeling of your truss. So these each member you have to model there. So go to beam, draw beam. Okay, here at the left ribbon you will find the draw beam option. Just click on this. A new dialog box will open up. The too many things actually here. We will discuss all these things. So after some time in the next exercise. Right now we don't need to see. Just close it. See, on the left side you will find a beam option. Is it visible? Draw beam, column, all option will be there. Just click on this line. So this kind of dialog box will open up, and many things is there that we will discuss after some time in the next exercise. Right now our focus is not this. Just close it. All points will be covered. Okay, just close it. Now how you can model a line element or frame element. So this is the base point. Okay, I am just trying to show from this line, from this point, so that it is visible. Unless and until you are not getting the red mark, red plus sign, or the naming as grids, you don't click on that point. Will other if you are firing from for a particular point at from a far distance, that will create error in your model. You all got it? So unless and until you are taking your cursor near the joint from where you want to start a line element, and if you are not getting the red sign or red mark, till that don't click on that point. So right now see, I am just getting the right point, red mark, then I am going to select that point. So click at this point and then freely move to the next point where you want to end your line. So just click here. Now freely move to the next point. Just click here. Being that command active, now next move to the next point and click here. Is that clear? Now next we have to model, we have to make this line. This one member is there, this another member is there. But right now what I am going to do, because we don't have this point perfectly, so we are going to model this complete beam from, or complete member from this point to this point at the center. So to do that, see, I need to find, close it, just start from this point. Oh, okay, let's start from this point. Just click on this and freely move to find the center. Are you able to find center? See, there is an active move. The beam draw command is active. To make this command deactivated, just click on this cursor, select object cursor, just click on this, so that command will be in deactive mode. comes into the active mode. Now just right click anywhere on the window. Just right click. There you will be able to find snap option. Just click on this snap option. So many options are there. We will discuss in the command exercise. But right now I just want to see this midpoints of a particular line. So just click on this line ends and midpoints. Check this box and say apply and close it. Now go to draw the beam again. Just close it. Start your point from this point. Freely move to the required. Just click on this midpoint. Now come back to your origin, and unless and until you are getting the red mark, don't click on that point. Now I am getting the red mark, then click here. So it's done. Is that clear? Hello? Now next. Now we have to model this member. Model this member. We have to 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 form this W. Okay. Just come back to the tabs. Then again take. Just clear it all. Go to beam section. Close this window. Start from this point. Select this. Click on this point. Move to this point. Come back to this point. Then come back to this point. Is that okay? Hello? Hello? So in this way you can complete. But see, it should be separate element or complete element. It should be divided at this joint or not. See, these are actually individual elements. Truss will have each individual elements, and that elements are jointed at their ends. So these all are the separate members. These all are the what? Separate members. But here while modeling, what we have done, we have taken this element continuous. So what we need to do, we need to break this member at this joint. We need to break this member at this joint. Is that clear? Hello? Back to the tabs. Okay. Yeah, so we have to divide this frame. Just click this frame. Okay, see, very consciously and very actively look at this operation, how you can break this member. So first select this frame and the joint where you want to break. Repeating again. Select this beam or element, then the joint where you want to break. It's done. Then go to edit. Then go to edit frames. There you will be able to find divide frames. Just click on divide frames. And here you will find three options. Divide into number of segments. Suppose there is a frame element like this. I just want to divide this frame into 5 parts. So you have to put 5. If you want to divide into 2 parts, just put 2. So we will see in detail this command in the command section. Got it? So here I want to delete the divide the frame at the intersection point. At this intersection point, to do that you have to go with the second option. Go with the second option, say apply. Now you will be able, see, this separated, this separate element. Is that clear? Hello? Hello? Yeah. Now just come back to this side. See, I am selecting this, so entire line will be selected. But I just want to break this at this joint. So just click the joint and say apply. First select the frame, then where you want to break the joint, break the beam or line element, select that joint, then say apply, so that this beam will also be, this element will also be broken into parts. You all got it? So as you can see here, all these members are separate members. Is that clear? Now just come back this truss. Okay, so see at the baseline. So as you can see here, it has, whenever you are modeling anything, it has at the base by default will give you support condition. You might be seeing that okay, I have given this support or not. This is given by the software or it is given by me. What is there? By default. So whenever you are going to do something at the base level, it will directly give the support condition, and that support will be given by the ETAP software as a hinge support. Got it? So whenever you are going to model anything at the base will by default give the support, and that support will be hinge support. Can you tell me how many types of supports are there? 3 types of support. There will be hinge support. Okay, there may be what? Fixed support, and there may be what? Simply support will be there. Okay, hinge support will be there, fixed support will be there, and simply support will be there. It is a very basic thing. I hope you all know about all these things. You all understood? Yeah. So see the support condition. So at the left end there is a hinge support, as you can see here. At the left end there is a hinge support. At the right end there is a roller support. That is actually simply support is there. And left side there is a hinge support. So right side is the roller support, left side is the hinge support. Just come back to the tabs. First we need to remove this support. Select this joint and select this joint. Just go to assign. Just go to assign. Just go to joint and then go to restraints. Again, first select the joint. How you can select the joint? See, what the selection procedure. To select particular thing, if you are dragging your cursor from left to right, so all the members and all the things which are completely coming inside of this box will be selected only. Hello, can you tell me what the things are coming inside of your box? Only the connection is coming inside of the box. That's why, as you can see here, one joint is selected. You have to focus on this side. It is very important thing. Every time at every operation you have to keep your eye on the left bottom side as well as at the right bottom side. That we will discuss in detail after when we move to the next session. You will understand the importance of this bottom informations. Got it? So here you need to focus on the left side. One joint is selected. Okay. Now see, if I am dragging from right to left. So if you are dragging from right to left, all the elements and all the things coming completely inside of your box will be selected first, and all the members which is cut by this box will be selected also. Got it? So see, I am just dragging from right to left. See, can you tell me what are the selections there? 4 frames. See, because when I am dragging from right to left, so see, this frame is cut by the box, this frame is cut by the box, this frame is cut by the box, this frame is cut by the box. See, I am just, what I have done, I have dragging from left to right, and this box is coming like this. So that's why all the members that is which is actually cut by this box will be selected first, and second all the members coming completely inside of this box will be selected. So one joint plus 4 frames. Got it? So this is the selection procedure. Just clear all. Okay. So right now I just want to select only joint. So what I have to do? Either I have to move from right to left or left to right. First, exactly, left to right. Good. From left to right. So one joint is selected. Again left to right, 2 joint is selected. Good. Just go to assign, go to joint, go to restrain. I don't want any support condition there. Go to none. This is none. This is none. this is roller, this is hinge, and this is fixed. Okay, so just clear all. So I just want say apply. So joint support will be removed. So left joint I just want as hinge, so let it be hinge, and right I just want roller, so just see roller, say apply. So the roller support will be assigned. Is that clear? So left end is hinge and right end is roller. Now next we have to assign the loading at these joints. So can you tell me, see this is the results, AY is actually the result, and this is actually reaction result, and this is also a result. So just focus on this loading, and this loading. So can you tell me how much load we have to assign at the G point? 3 kilonewton, this is G, and at E 3 kilonewton, at F 2 kilonewton. Okay, come back. So first select the joints. At this joint I want to apply the load, at this joint I just want to apply the load. Select these two joints, then go to assign. Then in assign, there you will able to find joint loads. Either loads will be three types, either it may be joint load, either it may be line load, either it may be area load. Okay, so here I just want to apply the line joint load. Go to joint loads, then forces. Okay, so I just want to apply this load under the lie load pattern. What does mean by the load pattern and what is the application? So lot of concepts, a lot of things are there, we will discuss in the coming sessions. Okay, but here remember that we have to apply in the live load pattern. So just click live category, and we have to apply in globally Z direction, vertical, but in downward direction. So put minus sign and then 3, say apply. So is it visible? 3 kilonewton force has been assigned to required joint. Okay. So in this way you can assign the vertical direction load in the vertical downward direction. Okay, so what is the application of these three options? Now I just want to delete this loading. Select these joints again, two joints is in selection, and delete existing load. Apply. So the delete load, is it visible? See, select again this joint, again this joint, and I just want to apply the load as we have to apply the load 2 kilonewton, right? Say apply. How much we have to apply? 2 kilonewton. How much we have to apply? See, 3. So it is correct or wrong? Yeah, see, it is 2 kilonewton. So sometimes you did the mistake like this. So I just want to add one more kilonewton to all these joints. So to do this, go with the first option, add to existing load. So 2 kilonewton is there, no doubt. We have to add one more kilonewton, one more. So we have to go with the first option, say apply. So that will become 2 to what? 3 kilonewton. Suppose I just want to replace this kilonewton, this 3 kilonewton with the 10 kilonewton. So go with the second option and put 10. So this will be replaced by 3 to 10. Apply. Is it visible? So this is the application of these options. So right now I just want to replace it by 3 kilonewton. Just put 3, say apply. First, see, I'm just calling it as OK. So this will ask you the selection of joint. Okay, this will give you the intimation that no selected object were found to receive the assignment. There is no any selection where it has will assign the load. So before that you have to select the joint. Select this joint, and go to the assign load. It's done. You want to keep this window be activated so that you have to apply only, you have to say only apply. See, if I am calling it as, suppose I just want to apply again 3 kilonewton by replace option. Okay, let it be as it is. I am just clicking on OK. So assignment will be done. but this window will be disappear, will be deactivated. See, okay, it's done. Hello, hello. So that's why I'm just clicking again on apply, not OK. Once you click on OK, no doubt operation will be done, but your window will be disappeared. So again come back to the go to assign and go to joint load, go to force, and now at this time I just want to apply minus 2 kilonewton at this tip. 2 kilonewton apply. Is that clear? So all kinds of load we have assigned to this member. Is that clear? Hello. So see, all the modeling is done and all the assignment is done. Now we have to analyze your model. Yeah, we have to analyze our model. So to do this, just come back and go with the, but before analyze your model, you have to check your model is correct or wrong. Got it? We need to check what? We need to check whether your model is correct or wrong. So we have to check whether our model is correct or wrong. So to do this, go to analyze section, go to check model. Just click on check model. So many options will be there, whether the joints are overlapping or not. Okay, tolerance for the overlapping. See, length tolerance. So suppose there is a two beam, this beam and this beam is separate beam, and this is a joint point. If the beam is overlapping this beam, sorry, for example, this is a beam, first beam and the second beam. This beam is overlapping with this beam by a certain distance. Let it be more than let it be 2 mm. So we have taken the tolerance up to 1 mm. So up to 1 mm, it will not catch this kind of problem as an error. But if exceeding beyond the 1 mm, it will catch it as error. This is overlapping error. Similarly, two joints are overlapping to each other, that will be counted by the ETABS as an error. If the slabs are overlapping with each other, ETABS will call it as an error. Okay, so these all are the checks for your model to check your model is correct or wrong. So the tolerance I have taken as, or it has by default taking as 1 mm. So let it be as it is. Select all checks. I just want to check all the errors. Say OK. It takes some time and give the result. Model has been checked. No warning messages were generated. There is no error in your model. Your model is perfectly correct. Got it? So see, check model and check all select. Okay, if you want to select this option, you can also select this. Then say OK. Okay, so it will give the result that model has been checked. No warning messages were generated. Is that clear? Just close it. So your model is perfect and go to analyze your structure. Just click on run analysis. You can analyze your model by clicking on run analysis, or you can also find this same option from analyze and run analysis. Also you can press F5 your keyboard so that your analysis will start. So I'm just clicking here. So your analysis will start. Before completion of the analysis, it will ask you to save your model. So let it be T1, trust 1, save this model. So this is the deformed shape of your structure, or we can say your model. This is what? This is actually what? The deformed shape. This will give the results of each joint. The translational displacement is how much in x direction. In x direction, this is what? 0.05. In y direction, 0.000. In z direction, the deflection from this point to this point is what? Minus 0.227. Movement is 0, 0, 0. Got it? So this is actually the deformed shape of your structure, your model. See, this is the 3D frame, or this is the each joint has 6 degrees of freedom. See, if you are talking about particular joint, this joint may move in x direction, that will be ux. This move in y direction, that will be uy. This can move in the z direction, that will be the uz. There will be movement about z axis, there might be movement about x axis, there might be movement about y axis. So total degree of freedom, how much? Hello? 6. So that result is actually given here. Translation in x direction, translation in y direction, translation in this direction, rx, ry and rz, all are the movements. Got it? Now you can see this result. There is a movement along y direction, about y direction, as you can see, 0.000048. Okay, so like that you can see the results. You all got it? Yeah. Now see, here we have to see the axial forces in the members of the truss. Got it? What we have to see? We have to see the axial forces in all the members of the truss, so that we have to verify whether the results are matching or not. Got it? So we have to see the result. So before the result, we are going to see reactions. So how you can see the reactions? Go to display, go to forces stress diagram, and there you will be able to find support reactions. Just click on this, and I just see in which load pattern we have assigned the load. Live load. So just select the live load. Say apply. See FZ direction. As I earlier told you that X direction, Y direction, Z is the about the vertical direction. So make sure that your Z direction should be checked only. Say apply. I just want to see the result in arrow format. Say apply. So how much result is there? 4. Is it correct or wrong? Correct. So reaction is verifying our result is correct for the reaction. Okay, good. Just close it. Now I just want to see the axial forces in the members of the truss. So to do this, to see this, go to display, section, then go to force stress diagram. Below to this, you will be able to find frame, pier, spindle forces, frame forces. Just click on this. A new kind of dialog box will be open up. Okay, and at this time I just want to see the axial forces. Check this box and left all these settings unselected, and don't do anything here. Just say apply. So this will give you the axial forces in the members of your truss. Okay, so red sign is actually the meaning of negative force is there. Hello, you all are with me? Yeah. So the red sign shows that this is a negative force, and yellow sign shows that is what? Positive force. Hello. First, yellow sign shows that is a positive force. Red sign shows that is negative force. Now again, yellow sign. No, I am explaining. Okay, wait. Okay, see, yellow sign shows positive force, red color shows means negative force. First thing, yellow color means this is a tensile force, and red color means it is compressive force. Is that clear? Yellow color, that means tension force, and red color means your compressive force. Good. Now this is all about the sign. Okay, now see, if you take your cursor near your frame element, so you will be able to find the force. Is it visible how much it is? Okay, just go to again display and frame. See, I don't want to fill this result by the color, so just uncheck this box, fill diagram, apply. Is that okay? Now tell me how much it is. Minus 4.3926. How much it is? 5.1 to 5.1952. 5.1952. Just come back to see which member is this, A and B. In AB, what is the force? No doubt it is tension. Here is also tension force. Positive means tension. But what about the value? Value is what? 6.928. And here you are getting what? So whether it is correct or wrong? Wrong, exactly wrong. Now check for others also. Just come back. BC. Where BC? In this member. How much force? 3.46. Okay. Check it here. 3.46. No, this 3.48. Not acceptable. Got it? Yeah. Now check for this incline. How much it is? Minus 6.4594. Hello? Minus 6 point. If you want to get more elaborated result, you can right click on this member. See, close it. See, I just want to see more elaborated result. Just right click on this member. You all are with me? Oh, no, that's not possible. See, I am just right clicking on this member. Right click here. So the result will be appearing like this. Axial force is how much? So 6.4594. Make sure that you are under the live load pattern. Hello, if you are changing the load pattern, the result will be changes. But here we actually want to see the result under the live load pattern. Okay, so how much it is? See, this is what? 6.494. And here A to B, sorry, this is what? Sorry, this is the result of this member. Okay, 6.4594. This A to what? A to, good, A to G. What is the result is there? It is compression. Okay, our result is also compression, but the value is matching or not? Not. So is also wrong. So what the thing is going wrong? No, we are looking at the live load. So what the thing is going wrong? Can anyone recall, and can give the answer? It's an open discussion. You all can answer. Actually, the problem is that whenever you are going to model and you are going to form a joint in ETABS software, suppose this beam, I am breaking this beam and it's at a particular joint and starting next beam from that joint. So this joint ETABS will consider as a rigid joint. Hello. ETABS will consider this joint as a rigid joint, and at this joint there will be development of the movement. This joint will carry the movement. And our assumption while analysis of the truss is what? Each joint is pinned connected. Pinned connection is there. So here movement should be what? Exactly. So we need to make some arrangement, give us some arrangement there so that these joints should be free from movement. Got it? So the naming, so the term comes here as releases. What? The terms comes as releases. We have to release the movement from that joint. So just come back to the ETABS and select all frames. So to make any change in your model, you first need to unlock your model. Unlock your model. So all the results will be deleted. Okay. Now see, select all the frames, all the line elements. Just select all the line elements. Okay, once all the elements has been selected, then go to assign, and as these all are the frame elements, go to frame. There you will be able to find releases and partial fixity. Just click on this point and see movement about 2 to movement about 3. So there is a very important explanation that I will explain tomorrow. What does mean by the movement about 2 to movement about 3, when you have to see movement about 2, when you have to see movement about 3, that all things we will discuss tomorrow. But here just keep in mind we have to release at the both ends, in both the minor and major axis. So check all 4 boxes and say apply. So as you can see, the releases has been assigned to all the ends. Is that visible? Is it visible? Okay. So the meaning of assigning the releases is what? Actually we want to release the movement. We don't want this joint to take the movement. So this is all done. Now just go to analyze your model. Just click on the analysis. Okay, the result will be there. Just go to display, go to forces, frame forces. Now I just want to see the axial force. Check this box and live load should be there. Say apply. Now at this time, see how much result is there? 6.92. Here how much it is? 6.92. It is correct or wrong? Correct. Good. How much it is? 3.4642. 3.46. Okay, BC. So can you consider it? Yeah, because there might be some little bit changes. Okay, calculation. Okay, approximation will be there. Now see AG. AG how much it should be? So check it. How much it is? Exactly 8. Got it? Yeah, good. Now you can also check it up for this member GF. How much GF? 5. Just come back and just click here. How much it is? So you all got it. So this is all about how you can model. So too many things you have learned by today's session. Yeah, so you can cover all these commands and all these things. See, I'm just trying to explain this example. I'm not going to discuss the commands. Commands we will take, so don't think that I'm going very fast. Okay, I will take all the commands separately. Each and every command I will show you how to do that, what is the application of that command.